Hi, everyone. I'm so glad that you have joined us today for this symposium. Thank you for your patience for moving online, and thank you to everyone who's watching and everyone that's a part of the Mason community for all that you have done in the last few weeks. We certainly recognize that this was an abrupt change, but are so proud of all the hard work that our faculty, staff, and our students are doing to maintain our engagement in our Mason community. My name is Jamie Lester. I'm the Associate Dean of Faculty Affairs and Strategic Initiatives in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. But I have been at Mason actually since 2008 as a faculty member. And the work that I do is actually within the context of higher education. So for the last 20 years or so, I have been studying organizational change and leadership in higher education with a major focus on gender equity, which will come through today in our discussion. Um, Let me start by saying that I realize that Dr. Hattery has already provided in her video a very clear understanding of some of the equal pay issues that are occurring in our country. So I'm not going to focus on that today. Rather, what I'm going to focus on has to do with what we see in higher education. So this is some recent data that was released by an organization called Coupa HR, which tracks salaries within higher education institutions. And you'll see here that female junior professors are paid more equitably now, quite frankly, than they ever have been in the past. So that is certainly some gains that we have been able to make. But we know that as female faculty in particular go up the academic ranks, we see that they are paid less equitably. So you can see here that women, newly promoted women professors, make only about 83 cents to every man's dollar, which is very much aligned with what Dr. Hattery explained, and certainly what we have seen for many, many decades around gender and pay. So we do see this replicated here in higher education institutions. Let me also note that this is not just within the context of faculty ranks, right? We see that we have more and more women who are adjunct professors who tend to get paid far less than our full-time faculty and also don't have access to healthcare and other types of benefits. We also know that within the context of other types of faculty, like that term faculty also tend to be women, and that they also are paid less than our tenure line faculty. So we have some major inequities still within higher education itself. Let me talk if I can get, there we go, if I can get this to work, but what some of the consequences are to you individually. So as you think about moving into careers, whether they be in higher education or otherwise, it's really important to think long term about these consequences. So certainly when our take home pay is lower, that of course is a real issue in terms of the kinds of purchasing power that we have over time. So when you think about your ability to pay off student loans, when you think about your ability to make purchases like around a home or a mortgage, cars, and in particular, appreciating assets. So the more money you have, the larger home or higher cost home you can purchase, which also appreciates at a much greater rate. So if you think decades down the road, your purchasing power is lessened by having a lower take home pay. So there are real consequences immediately, but also consequences later. Let me also say that retirement savings is huge. And I know for a lot of us, it feels like it's way, way, way down the road. But most retirement accounts, the way that it's calculated is you get a percent of your current salary. So the higher your salary, the higher your percent that goes into that retirement savings, which of course grows over time as those investments are made by those organizations. So take home pay is important. It's crucial for not just for what you're experiencing today, but what you're going to experience way down the roads and decades to come. So what does this mean for you? This is my best advice I can give to you today. First is get educated, right? So know whatever industry you're going into, how much other people are making. Look at LinkedIn. There's a lot of online resources now that have these kinds of information available that we never had in prior years. Also educate others, right? Help others understand where they can find this information. And negotiate, negotiate, negotiate. We are often not socialized, in particular as women, to be aggressive and competitive. However, this is where we have to, adopt what Amy Cuddy has here in the Superwoman pose. And you can see here I have a Wonder Woman poster up here in my house. We have to adopt this sort of persona. We have to learn how to negotiate. ask, fathers, grandfathers, male friends, right? Other people in your life that were socialized in different ways and say, how would you negotiate in this context? Find those people, those parents, friends, people who work in the industry as mentors and sponsors to help you understand what the norms are around negotiating, because it's key. And then, once you're in the organization, think about how you can create change, how you can help others, how you can become sponsors and mentors to other women as they're coming through those different job interviews and whatnot. Again, it's really key that we figure out not just how to support ourselves, but how to create changes in the organization. Have a great time today in this virtual conference. I hope that this was somewhat helpful. And certainly, if you ever need any advice, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. This is really important to me. It's always been important in my career, and I have two daughters, and so I always think about these things as well. Thank you all.